Hello everybody, my name is Shalise. Welcome out everybody to my rankings of the Viking seasons. A lot of people say there's 6 seasons of Vikings, there's actually 9. I'm splitting 6A, 6B, 4A, 4B, 5A, 5B. Since they split in half, and in reality, they feel like different seasons. So there is 9 seasons of Vikings, not 6. So let's start off with the worst season. The worst season is Viking season 6B. I mean, not 6B, season 6A. Viking season 6A, this season had just a lot of, how should I say, it was a build-up season. This season was a lot of build-up for the future final season of Viking season 6B. This season really had Ubbe and Torvi just staying in Kattegat while Bjorn goes over to King Harold and tries to help him free him from King Olaf. King Bjorn is here, but he's making backtracks. And Viking season 5B, Bjorn was in love with a new woman, Gunhild, but in this season, he cheats on his new wife, and he gets a new wife, named Ingrid. And he's slowly just dissenting, and not becoming a good man and all this stuff, but for his kingship and all this stuff, he's questioning himself constantly. He's constantly second-guessing himself, and Bjorn is realizing that he doesn't truly want to be king. You can see it in his face. He doesn't want to settle. He wants to be traveling, wants to be exploring. He doesn't want to stay in one place. He likes battle. He's not meant to settle, and that's the one thing with Bjorn's character that I kind of respect. I respect his character that he knows that, but the thing is, so he's fighting against his instinct, and he's realizes he's not the best husband. He's realized not the best son, not the best father to his kids. He knows that about himself, and this season is really just a lot of backlog. This is really the season of saying goodbye to Agatha. We got Vitzik going on a drug rant page, and we get Ivar and Roos, but the Roos storyline is coming very slowly. So this season was just really a build-up season. This wasn't a great season, but this wasn't a bad season at all. I would give this season a B. This was not a bad season, but to me, a lot compared to like the previous seasons of Vikings, this just didn't put up there, but it wasn't there up for me. I mean, Ubbe's one of the best characters of the show, and he's just sidelined because somebody has to watch over Kattegat while Bjorn's away, and Vitzik is going through a drug phase right now. So, and Ivar is becoming more mellow in a sense, and Roos. So, Viking season 6B, good season of Vikings. I'm gonna give it a B, 8.5 out of 10. Not a bad season. Number 8, I'm going to get to Viking Season 5A. This season of Vikings had a lot to do. This Viking season had to have the unfortunate of being the only season after Ragnar Lothbrok. After Ragnar Lothbrok died, there had to be a season that continued it. The stories of Ivar's journey. And Ivar's journey with the brothers of the brothers of Ragnar, the sons of Ragnar and all this stuff, it's just a lot of stuff that just, compared to other seasons, again, we have Ragnar Lothbrok, and I know I'm not saying that because we didn't have Ragnar, this season wasn't that great. What was uneven about this season is just that other seasons were just so much better. During this time, we get to see the rise of Ivar. We get to see him controlling himself in England. The great storyline with Bishop Hedman and him was great. Ubbe is battling, butting heads with Ivar. Vitzik's caught in the middle between the brothers. Bjorn's out exploring the Mediterranean. And then ultimately at the end, after the 6th episode, they all have to reunite because Ivar is going after Lagertha, the person who killed his mother. So Lagertha is going through this stuff, and then Ivar is working with King Harold. So it's just a good battle between brothers. It is a civil war in many cases, and I absolutely adored this season. But it's not the greatest season. I'm going to give it a Viking season 5A, a B+. Number 8. Number 7... Viking Season 4A. Viking Season 4A had a lot of great things going for it. Floki is revealed the murder of Athelstan. Ragnar has to deal with him. The problem is, though, for this season, Ragnar gets on drugs. So we're never going to see prime Ragnar in his greatness. It's a slow descent. He survives the Battle of Paris in Viking Season 3. And then he just goes downhill because he takes drugs. He lost Athelstan. He's having problems with Floki, and he gets into drugs. And then he goes to fight Rollo, who he's so disgusted by how he hates his brother for betraying him. Rollo becomes his own man. He really shines throughout this entire season, trying to get out of his brother's shadow, but become an ultimate betrayer and helping Paris. We have some different court stuff with the Paris storyline, which wasn't the most interesting stuff, but it was well done. The best part about this season is honestly King Egbert rise to power and how he takes over Mercy and all that. I really love King Egbert as a character, and I think this season was probably his best season. It really it made Aethelwulf grow, Judith grow, and I really enjoyed the season of Vikings. It's just when we have our main characters just doing drugs constantly, and he's going through withdrawal, he's going through this, through that, seeing stuff, seeing visions, it's just not the most entertaining. So we don't want to see our characters at the lowest moment. We always like to see them in their prime. But to me, Ragnar was not in his prime in this season. So Viking Season 4A is a great season. I'm going to give it an A-. Okay, 987. Let's go to number 6. And number 6, I'm going to give to the final season of Vikings. Viking Season 6B. There's a lot of great stuff about this season. They had a great send-off for Bjorn, a great send-off for Ube, Floki, Gunhild, King Harold, and Ivar. They all got their storylines in order. The Roos storyline ends off with a nice bow. Ivar and his journey was done very nicely, ended. And a lot of people keep forgetting what Vikings is supposed to end like. Our Vikings, I loved about this entire season how they showed different cultures of the Vikings and the different aspect what it means to be a Viking and how Vikings will eventually end. They either die, go out in a blaze of glory, or they'll move to a more peaceful type of life. Two brothers really make that out, Ivar and Ube, about what brothers are going to have different paths, and what both brothers who are sons of Ragnar, how they're both so different, and how eventually the Vikings the Viking storyline, the Viking world will end separately between them, and it shows examples of each one of them. I think this show had a great. I think you should not binge this show. I think you should watch each episode carefully and really dissect and watch build-ups of how certain things. A lot of people don't like how Gunhild, King Harold, or Ivar even goes out, but it makes sense from storytelling perspective about why these characters went out the way they did, because it was building it up, in my opinion. But if you want to have any more, if you want really for me to discuss about Viking Season 6B, look down. I will have a video down in the description about my final thoughts of Viking Season 6B. This was a great final season of Vikings. I would give this an A-. This was a fantastic season of Vikings. I'm going to give it the same score as Viking Season 4A with Ragnar going through his drugs and all this stuff, but it is a great season. So number 6, Viking Season 6B. Number 5, Viking Season 1. This is the premiere season of Vikings. Viking Season 1 was great. We had Ragnar starting off his family with Lagertha, Bjorn, and I'm forgetting his daughter's name, but he had a daughter, Ragnar. And then we had Athelstan. You got his exploration of England. You got him fighting against the Earl and becoming Earl and really just exploring and really expanding the Viking world, because he was so famous because he founded England and he traveled and he raided there. So Viking Season 1 is all about the beginning stages of Vikings, about the farmers who become Earl, who eventually become a legend and all that stuff. So Viking Season 1 was a tremendous first start for Vikings, but it's not my favorite season. So number 5 is Viking Season 1. Let me just make sure I get this correct before I even jump out to the next ones. Okay, my number 4 spot is going to be Viking Season 5B. I enjoy Viking Season 5B. Alfred really becomes into his own. He has a good relationship with Ube. Alfred and Ube work together to help Alfred become stronger, to help make sure England survives against the Vikings, and how Ube really gets a land there for his people, because of how his father wanted this to actually have settlement land in England, and Ube gets that legitimately. Bjorn is going after Ivar and Kattegat. Kattegat is being ruled by Ivar. Ivar gets this god syndrome, which a lot of people thought was out of the blue, but it makes sense for all his power and his being crippled and being manipulated by a woman named Freydis, and he falls in love, gets married, he becomes tyrannical, becomes a tyrant. I mean, he just goes through so much phases, but he still is a brilliant tactical genius that is Ivar Lothbrok, or Ivar Ragnar's son. Ivar was fantastic in this season. Bjorn was pretty good in the second half of this season. And also Ube, this was his season easily. Like how Viking Season 5A was Ivar's season, Viking Season 5B was definitely Ube's season. It really showed Ube growth as a character and why I believe he was the best son of Ragnar. And this season was utterly fantastic. I love what they did with King Alfred, with Judith, with Aethelred. The whole England storyline was amazing. Bishop Hedman had a great ending as well. A lot of people didn't like Legda and Hedman's relationship. I thought it was okay. I don't think it was great. I don't think it ruined anybody's character, but it is what it is. I tremendously enjoyed Viking season 5B. So I'm gonna give this season of Vikings an A- as well. My third spot is none other than Viking season 2. I enjoyed Viking season 2. Ragnar from Earl becomes king at the end of the season. He's dealing with King Horik, and then he's dealing with freaking Jarl Borg. He's stuck in the middle between them. He continues raids in London. We get the introduction of King Edberg. We get King Ayla. There's so many great things about this season of Vikings. Viking season 2 did a lot of great stuff. They introduced more with Athelstan and how he's conflicted with both the Christian faith and the Viking faith. We get Lagertha leaving Ragnar, and Ragnar is just having like two separate wives, Aslog and Lagertha. No, not having two separate wives, but he has a second wife, and Aslog, he gets her pregnant. He has his kid Ube, Ivar, Sigurd, and Vitsik. He gets that kid, and Bjorn really becomes into a man. He starts a fight with his mother and father in the battlefield. Rollo has a redemption arc this season, and I just love this season of Vikings. This is a great season of Vikings. I'm going to give this season an A. Viking season 2 is just that damn good. And my second favorite spot is Viking season 4B. Ragnar Lothbrok returns, but he's not here for the better. There's an immediate time jump after Viking season 4A. At the end of the last episode, like the last 10 minutes, there's a time jump. Ragnar's kids are all grown up, so we're getting this blend of old school and new school. Lagertha has changed. Ragnar has filled with regrets. He sees both his previous wives. He really goes on this journey of this is his final end. This is his final end. This is going to be the future rise of his sons, of Ivar. And we introduced to his character and his bond with his father, his bond with Loki, his bond with his brothers is interesting. Ube, it starts off as a good character. Vixens and Sigurd need some growth, but they were slowly building them up. Bjorn is exploring the Mediterranean. There's just so much stuff to love about this season. This has had some great episodes, some great moments. This is the season where this has some of my favorite episodes in the entire series. Viking season 4B was just a great send-off to Ragnar Lothbrok, the legend himself, and really growing the other sons of Ragnar Lothbrok and to really grow this universe more. So Viking season 4B, fantastic season of Vikings, it's an A as well. But my absolute favorite season of Vikings is Viking season 3. Viking season 3 was absolutely fantastic. Ragnar works with King Egbert to get more land in England and all this stuff. He eventually leaves that side, thinking he has a settlement there. King Egbert is moving against Ayla, the Crown of Mercia in many cases, and he's also destroyed Ragnar's settlement after he promised he would take care of it and all that stuff. So he manipulated his way, he manipulated his sons, he starts a devious path with his daughter-in-law. That's another story. And then there is Ragnar Lothbrok. He's now decides to go to Paris, but he kind of lost a lot of himself because Athelstan dies. Loki kills Athelstan. So Ragnar's dreams of conquering Paris and to become more famous, it destroys him in many cases because he lost his best friend and he wants the ultimate revenge to Floki. And Paris, the Battle of Paris was just utterly fantastic. The entire season was fantastic. Highs and lows, and Ragnar just shows the legend he is, and he's ultimately in his ultimate prime. So hail King Ragnar. And so Viking season 3, best season of Vikings by far. But let me know what y'all think, everyone. Subscribe if you like. Do screen on the bottom, link comment below. Let me know. Respect my opinion, respect yours. What's your personal favorite season of Vikings, everybody? You think I should have just done the top 6 seasons to make the video shorter? You think I should have put the Viking season as 6, the final season, higher? You think I should have put the season as 6B? You think I should have separated the season? Let me know what y'all think, everyone. Major League, for everybody. Bye.